Now we're in Edgewater, Florida, and you guys had fun at the air show, I think, even though it's kind of slow, wasn't it?
A little bit. There weren't as many people as what we'd hoped for.
But the land did provide a nice air show.
They did, and it was. I thought it was well organized. And there were a lot of vendors and such there, and there were some people. We had several good interviews with folks talks with folks about engines, but it certainly wasn't like Sun and Fun or Oshkosh by any means. But
It's the first year.
it's first year, right?
Yeah.
And looks like this may be the new Sebring show.
Right.
And so we'll see. We come from Missouri, so we're not coming back for Sebring,
But you guys flew down from Missouri in
Yeah.
this 601 right here.
yeah.
And this is yours, Dick?
Yes, that's mine, and it's not much for Purdy, but hell for stout, and that's why I ended up with one of the reasons why I ended up with the Viking 130 engine. And one thing that I got impressed with on the flight down is we flew, one leg was 4 hours, and we burnt 18 gallons. And we probably put at least a half gallon on the ramp. But so that figures out pretty economical, 4.5 gallons per hour. I'll take that any day.
And you were doing like 130 to 140 over the ground or true airspeed?
True airspeed was right at 138, 140.
That's phenomenal. And you don't have wheel pans, but you got the 601 XL. So, yeah, that's great. That makes it a nice travel machine.
Yes, it does.
Is that something that you plan to do and use the airplane for?
Yes. Eventually, next year, it's on my bucket list. I want to fly to the Four Corners. And that's why I wanted an engine with high reliability. I don't, like I said, I don't go for Purdy. I want to go for reliability. Purdy can kill you.
No.
Being hefty and strong and reliable, that's what we want. And
How
it's
was it? How was it to fly with Dick from Missouri? You have
It
quite
was
a
kind of
bit.
scary.
Uh-huh.
No, it was, the airplane carries two, and our stuff, quite adequately. Got up off the ground and flew right along, and yeah.
And both
It'd
of
have
you,
been better if we'd have flown in a straight line, but notwithstanding,
so you were co-pilot then?
yeah,
Yeah.
right. I was trying to keep him out of the the controlled airspaces and
Now both of-
restricted areas and that sort of stuff.
And both of you have a lot of experience in aviation. You said to me earlier you used to fly in a
Yeah,
corporate.
I retired. I was a corporate pilot for 40 years and retired, and now I'm just a pilot.
Right.
I fly
You can
little
pilot
airplanes.
here
Some
and pilot there.
right,
and
right,
pilot
yeah,
over there.
yeah. I have a guy that I fly a couple, 2-3 times a week. He's got a Lance and a Navajo, and looking at maybe getting a Baron, and he likes riding, and
Okay, so you have lots of experience with general aviation airplanes. So when you go and fly behind this Viking engine with Dick, what does it feel like? I mean, you got all kinds of hours between Lycomings and Continentals, and I think you used to have a Bonanza, and
Yeah.
then your son took it from you.
yeah, my partner
So-
absconded with my Bonanza, so I don't
So
have that
so
anymore.
exactly how does it
So,
feel compared to all that experience to go and now fly a Honda engine?
Well, when I first I could build a Sea Ray, and when I first built Sea Ray, I was looking for an engine that was something that was other than Rotax, because I really just had a sour taste in my mouth about Rotax, and primarily the cost of their stuff, the cost of their maintenance, the cost of their parts, and their arrogance, and it just was like dealing with the FAA all over, and so I really had a problem with it. Notwithstanding, I had a brand new Rotax in a box, 912, sitting right by the airplane when I built it, and And when it came time to put it on, I took it out of the box and I pulled the paper off of it. And I looked at it there on the crane for a while, and then I put the paper back on it and I put it back in the box, and I went looking. And my first advent was a Corvair, trying to make a Corvair work on it, which was a mistake. Although I got the engine mounted, it looked good, it ran good, it made good wind. It did. The problem was I couldn't cool it. Air-cooled engine in a pusher configuration is a bit of a challenge, I think. And so I tried. I put like 6 hours on the airplane, but it was all right above the airport, and I always landed when it got hot. So then that's when I saw the Viking, and the first engine I put on it was the 110, and that went on. That made a girl catcher out of it, you know. Made the airplane go good, and everything was, you know. And I think I put 350 hours or so on the 110, and then I decided I was going to upgrade to the 130 because if a 110 is good, I figured a 130 would be a lot better, you know. And there was some guy standing over there on the side that needed an engine for his 601. Oh, this 601, yeah, that's the one. And so that was the deal. I was going to put the 130 on my Sea Ray, and he was going to get my hand-me-down, you know. And there was not anything wrong with the 110. It ran and did everything fine, you know. But that was the original plan. Well, in the interim between me swapping engines and him getting an engine, I talked him into getting the 130, and so that's how come he's got the 130 in there now. Very, very smooth engine. Starts nice. You know, it just is a great running engine. You know, so that's where we're at, and that's where we're at on that. And the 110 is not a, you know, there was a fella that was looking for an engine. He was looking for a 110, and he gave him a good deal on it. You know, and there was really not anything wrong with the engine. And he was going to put it, I believe, on a Kit Fox. So hopefully it'll do a good job for him, and we'll all be happy. So.
And you've flown more than a couple of years too, right?
Oh, yes, few years, about 40, but not very consistent, just basically when I can afford it or wanted to. It's my passion to go out and build airplanes, or it's as much fun as flying. One thing I forgot to say about the 130 engine, I had about 8 to 10 hours on it before I went over and picked up Dwayne. And I no way would have considered in any other engine picking him up and coming down here. So that shows you how much confidence I have in the engine. And it didn't let me down a bit. It just hums along and very thrifty. I'm very impressed with it.
And you also had a career in aviation, right?
Yes, I was worked in engineering at McDonnell Douglas for 30 years. They're different fighters. Enjoyed that. That's why I've always enjoyed aviation.
Well, thank you so much for being down here in Florida, and we'll see you both maybe at Sun and Fun.
Sounds like a plan. All right.
Yes.